Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and today we're going to react to the Garphill announcement stream video that they did that Shem Phillips and Sam J. Is it J. McDonald? S.J. McDonald? Sam McDonald did. I think it would have been yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever it was. But yeah, we're reacting to it because maybe unlike Jesse, Garphill Games is either my favorite publisher or second favorite. Kind of depends on the day, but recently I think for the games I tend to like a little bit more than maybe you. I think I get a little bit more excited about their releases currently than my other option, which would be Stonemaier Games, but they're both very exciting.
I usually enjoy most of their releases. Not as much a fan as you, though, for sure.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of crunchy Euro-y games. Is kind of what they've been putting out recently. So that's what I always look forward to.
Yep.
But yeah, so getting
some
into
of these
it.
Announcements, I can just keep talking at the same time here. But yeah, brief overview. They revisit the North Sea, which was kind of one of their first trilogies of games with their Raiders of the North Sea and the others. Then a new ancient anthology game, which is another kind of new series of games they've been releasing that aren't really in a trilogy. Upgaming game from Arkus, which I believe Shem is kind of now. I don't know exact his position in there, but he's in.
I think he's like a part owner.
Yeah.
I think he originally came on to kind of help them because I think, like Garphill Games, I think they're both from New Zealand or Australia area. So I think they had kind of asked him for some help and stuff originally, some guidance. And I think then I don't know if he originally was kind of a part owner or if it always was. Not exactly sure.
Yep, and then a sneak peek at Inventors of the South Tigris, I believe it is.
Yep.
So the first one revisiting the North Sea actually, first they mentioned that they will be going to GenCon this year. Shem Phillips, Sam McDonald, and Bobby Hill, designer of Hadrian's Wall.
Yes.
And you also have an announcement to make concerning GenCon.
Yes, it will be my first time going to GenCon this year, and what pushed me over the line was these handsome fellas going as well. So hoping to maybe see them there one of the days or something. I'll have to see because I own pretty much all the Garphill games that are currently out. So I don't know if there'll be anything to actually buy there. But I was thinking in my mind, I'm like, it'd be cool if I could buy something and have them sign it because I get really excited about all their games. But I sadly already have their newest release that just came recently, Legacy of You. You can check out our channel for an unboxing and then my initial thoughts after a couple of plays of it. But I'm really enjoying that one.
Just bring all of your box covers, get them signed.
That's true. I suppose I could bring a box cover and get one signed.
Yeah. So one game that you do not own of their games currently is Shipwrights of the North Sea, which was probably the least well received of pretty much all the Garphill games, and there have been talks of reworking it. I know he kind of started reworking it, and that eventually turned into Legacy of You, I believe.
Yep. That's what he kind of said in the video.
Yes. But then here's an official redux of Shipwrights of the North Sea. Got a nice little cover, obviously the Miko artwork, classic style. You just look at any of these covers, even without the titles, and you know that's one from those series.
Exactly. And I feel like I don't know, there's something about it compared to kind of his original artwork. Kind of this cover and then something shortly after here that they also kind of announced. I feel like it has a slightly different look than kind of the original North Sea boxes that came out.
Yeah.
Even though they're both his artwork.
They might
sharper look maybe.
Maybe a little more detailed or something in these. Just seemed a little different because the later one, I was like, is that his artwork? It looks a lot like it, but we'll see that when we get to it.
Right. It's much more striking, I would say.
Yeah.
I like the look of it quite a bit.
Yeah, me too, as well. There's another picture of kind of the player boards here, which looks like we've got some tracks as well. I guess you probably took in a lot more of the gameplay stuff. I heard a little bit, lots of little keywords that are throughout
very Euro-y.
Yes, throughout all their games, pretty much. Just some similarities there, but
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
like
it
the look
sound
of this.
right. Yeah, I really like the look of it as well. And it sounded like originally, like you'd said, they said that kind of his first attempt turned into Legacy of You, and then this still takes some elements from that, where you're placing. So one of the things in Legacy of You is you're placing out meeples to take actions, and you get those kind of back. Whereas there's other actions you could take in Legacy of You where you spend meeples and you don't get them back, kind of using them as a resource. Uh, so I don't know if that's going to be similar here, where you can use them for both of those uses or not. But it sounded like there was some of that there. And then he also mentioned Hadrian's Wall, which is interesting,
Yeah.
considering that was a Bobby Hill design. I don't believe Bobby Hill was involved in this one. I don't think, but so I'm not really. I wasn't. I didn't really pick up exactly what was similar to Hadrian's Wall, but
Yeah.
I really love Hadrian's Wall too. So
Yeah, once I
I'm
heard
not
that,
disappointed in that, but I just was curious as to what
yeah,
part of the game feels like that. I don't know if it will be something with the tracks or something,
yeah.
but
Yeah, it is interesting that they kind of mentioned that it sounded like it was quite a bit different from the original
yeah, it
Shipwrights.
sounded like it was kind of a brand new slate.
And he had kind of implemented the games that he likes have changed a lot. He mentioned like Citadels and a lot more of entryway games, gateway games, and maybe a few more take that elements in that original design and just kind of moved away from that to where this does sound like it's going to be quite different and a lot more in line, like you said, with those comparisons to Hadrian's Wall, Legacy of You, what we're used to from a Garphill game nowadays.
Hmm.
And he did mention as well kind of these cards. If you get bad cards, he mentioned It's a Wonderful World and how you're able to scrap those cards for resources. And it sounded like that's going to be a similar mechanism here with these cards. And in that bottom right, it looks like a wood icon there, like you could possibly scrap that
That'd be
for
pretty
that,
cool.
which is
I missed that part, but yeah,
something that has me excited.
yeah.
Even though
Now that I hear that, now I'm even more excited.
huge, yeah. But yeah, overall, a nice look. Because we did not have this picture here when we started setting up this video, so they just like updated it immediately as we started. So thank you very much, BGG.
Mhm.
Just a little mention. Entirely new game, shares a lot of thematic elements, player goals from the original. Core gameplay has been completely rebuilt to create an experience much more in line with what fans of Garphill Games have come to expect. So, yep. I'm guessing we'll probably be getting this one.
Yep.
I don't.
Yeah, I think
That's a for sure. I think
right.
like any
What
of
did I
their.
have here? Oh, I think they said a June Kickstarter.
Oh,
So
yep.
I think it. I think their usually expected dates are about 9 to 10 months out, but I know Legacy of You was actually supposed to deliver. What did I tell you? July. So that showed up about 3 months early. Not saying that all their games are going to show up 3 months early, but him saying that I was happily surprised because that is not kind of the norm with Kickstarter. So uh,
Yep.
I'd
Yep.
be hopeful that maybe it could, you know, beginning of probably 2024 is when you'd probably be actually receiving this game,
Yeah.
would be my guess.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Then on to the next, something else in the North Sea. Here's that other cover, Explorers of the North Sea, kind of like a
Another
big
striking cover.
box. Yes, and here I actually have the original Explorers. It's the
Mm-hmm.
original cover there, which I'm fond of. I like that one quite a
Mm-hmm.
bit. Where are we? But I think I do quite easily prefer this one. This might be my favorite of every Garfield trilogy game cover. Even the little chicken up
I
there.
guess I can't remember. What were your thoughts on Wayfarers of the South Tigris?
Yeah, it's middle of the road, I would say, for me.
Okay. I think I just really like the colors that they used on that one, the combination of kind of that kind of light bluish with the kind of
Yellow.
sandy yellow. I think that's just very striking to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say probably the North Kingdom series and the West Kingdom. Um, this one's probably now my favorite. But yeah, it is a big box version to kind of fit everything else because it sounded like the newest that new Shipwrights is going to be kind of they're kind of now going to the ticket to ride size boxes with their
Yeah.
releases. If
Yeah.
you've gotten Wayfarers, you know that was more ticket to ride size versus in the past they kind of had Same size as this Legacy of You. So I actually don't know if they said, but I wonder if well, we'll get to the other one, but I don't know if all the ones in their Ancient series are going to still use their old box size.
I'm not sure.
But
I don't remember anything about that, but yeah.
But yeah, I think this is going to be part of the Kickstarter as well. It sounded like kind of all these next few things we're probably going to be looking at is going to be in that Kickstarter.
Yeah, and then here it looks like you have some trays here, which always a fan of. I know you, I think, was it these games, Wayfarers, you weren't a big fan of the insert, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I just took that out completely.
Yeah.
Ended up taking it out.
I don't think these are from the same people. I think this is some guy who used to be in game trade.
Sorry, I was thinking the original in Explorers, the original insert. I'm like, I don't know that there was much. Sorry, Wayfarers, yeah. Wayfarers, I was not the biggest fan of the insert personally. Yeah, but this looks different than that.
Yeah. I think this guy used to be, whoever did it, might be in a new company. Don't know all the details, not an expert, but used to be in game trades, which is one of the biggest and definitely best designers for these kinds of things. And it definitely looks very helpful, very cool. And I also like whenever they add a little thematic detail, having these be like wooden color, just not like plain black or gray or something like that, but to actually look like a boat. Nice little detail. So hopefully that is useful. Do you think you'll be picking that up?
I don't know. It's tough because Michaela is the one that probably likes the game the most. I'm probably average on it. Probably not one of my favorite of the Garphill games, but still like the game. And she said we didn't need it when I sent her the cover. So, but I didn't send her this insert stuff. So maybe if I showed her that, she might change her mind.
That's true. That's true. Well, you're gonna have to get it to match the covers, and I think they mentioned trying to get them to match as well, that they're going to be releasing box sleeves for, I think it is the West Kingdom games or whatever ones.
Yeah.
I forget exactly which ones they were not choosing of them, but to get so that all of your games can kind of match when they're set up on the shelf in order, which Shem definitely mentioned he likes to have it nice and neat, even matching. So I like that it's not just going to be a mixed match of boxes, that they kind of cater to that. And in addition,
I think, I'm not always the biggest fan of box sleeves, so I don't know that I would get those. But it would really probably depend on the price. I think for me, they would have to be pretty cheap, just because. I don't know. Box sleeves to me kind of, I don't know. Sometimes they seem to get in the way.
Yeah, it's just another.
But I could see how you'd want it to look nice.
Yep. And as well, these are actually North Sea metal coins, which are in some versions, like American versions at least, of the base game of Raiders of the North Sea, but were never actually released separately as like an additional buy, apparently. So now those will be, so you can finally get those if you don't have Raiders or don't have a version with those coins, or just want some coins or extras. You will be able to get those, which we can say that those are very nice metal coins.
They are very nice metal coins. And it is kind of, I don't know if it's just the non-American versions, or also I don't know if there's a new kind of version edition of the North Sea games where now it's just, I was going to say plastic coins, but cardboard coins. I don't know for a fact that that's the case, but I believe that recently they started coming out with the one version without the metal coins. But maybe that might have been non-US as well. I don't remember.
Yep.
But yeah, I would say these are worth it if you like the look of a metal.
For sure.
Ooh, the big news. Big news.
New game. Biggest news. Ezra and Nehemiah, another in their Ancient series of games, which I don't know exactly what. So this is, which ones are included in that exactly? Is Raiders?
So I think it's Raiders. So Raiders of Scythia, and then Hadrian's Wall, and I believe Legacy of You is also in there, and now Ezra and Nehemiah.
Okay, so I didn't know if
it's just kind of all those.
I didn't know if both Hadrian's and You were both in there, but they are both in there. Okay.
I believe so. I believe it's just kind of, I don't know. I think they're it's weird because like all their trilogy games are kind of historic anyway, but they're kind of, I think, treating this as kind of their ancient historic type game line, but that kind of already fits with what the other ones are. But they kind of treat them as if they're kind of too. I I don't know, but I'm guessing it's. I think they all have Shem's brother Sam Garfill is the one that,
Yeah.
or not Garfill, Sam
Sam Garfill.
Phillips,
Phillips.
Sam Phillips. I think he does the artwork on all of them. So
Yep. Oops, I keep going back to the previous one, and I do very much like his artwork style, and it's kind of weird to have half of their games be associated with one type of artwork, and now this other half of their games being associated with another type. It's cool. I probably prefer this type of artwork overall, just because it seems newer, fresher, because I'm used to the other kinds, but both are stellar.
right.
But yeah, this one is kind of based back in the day a bit, biblical days. I think you're pretty much Israelites going back, rebuilding Jerusalem, and I'm guessing getting a ton of victory points that way.
Pepper's excited about those victory points.
The aim of Ezra and Nehemiah is to be the player with the most victory points at the game's end, as the Bible is about.
Yeah, so I think rebuilding city walls and gates. I think it's just kind of a building up of things. It sounds like, and originally, I think they said it took them about 2 years that they were working on it. Finally, kind of came together, and for this one, they said usually when they're coming out with a new game, they try to think of something different, something to set the game apart. But this one, they said, we're not going to do that. We're just going to do whatever makes or fits the theme most.
Yes.
So I don't know that I ever really think overall like thematic when I think of Garphill Games. So I'll be interested to see if this really does feel like themes, or if at the end of the day it is still very mechanically driven. I think it probably will be, but they called this the greatest hits.
Yeah, it was referred to as the greatest hits. I had that written down in the notes, which I feel like a lot of their games have a lot of similarities already. So I'm like, if it's even more to be called like the most picking and choosing from all the other games, I am interested to see what that is. I assume it's going to be like, obviously it's going to be a heavier, crunchier game. They've been leaning that direction, but I'm pretty excited about this one, actually, to give it a try. Obviously, I love the artwork. I think the theme should probably come through when the theme is building. That's something that you do pretty much in every game, and I think that's pretty easy.
Yeah, I think they had a picture of the board and stuff.
Yeah, here's some player cards.
Yeah, and it sounded like there was some pieces of kind of, I don't know, almost simplicity of the game or limited amount of things you could do. So at first, when they were designing it, they thought it wouldn't be overly replayable necessarily. It'd kind of maybe just be something you'd play a few times and then be done. But then as they kind of worked on designing, developing it, they thought it became pretty replayable. So it'll be interesting to see if that's actually the case, or if maybe it does feel like it's not as replayable, and I don't know, maybe they're just too close to their own work. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I do wonder if they didn't find out that it was replayable, if they would have brought that up. They would have said, this one's not very replayable.
That's true. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Which that's not a problem for me. If it's fun, it's fun. But yeah, this looks like kind of a T game, Tekenu, Teotihuacan. That's what this board makes me feel like.
What's it? Boards and dice?
Yeah.
It does have that look to it. It makes me think of Teotihuacan a lot.
Which I enjoy that game. So yeah, this was more later in the year, October around, I think they said.
I think they said late in the year, October-ish. But yeah, if you're on their Discord channel, it sounded like they were looking for people to kind of play test and look at the rules and see if they're enjoying it or if anything kind of needs to be tweaked. So if
Yep.
you're
So in a
someone
few
that really likes
weeks.
to play test games and do that kind of stuff, and you like Garphill Games, I would definitely look into joining their Discord group and seeing if you can test it out.
Yeah, for sure. Then we go to a little teaser for.
Actually, I think one thing they did mention later on in the chat, I'll just mention it while we're on this one because it's related to kind of the ancient games. It did sound
Oh
like
yeah,
there's no plans for any expansions for any of the ancient series
yep.
of games. So and so far I would say yeah, Hadrian's Wall I still don't have figured out, so I definitely don't need an expansion of that one. Raiders of Scythia is that's pretty much Raiders
Yeah,
the North Sea with its expansions kind of already. So yeah, that
yeah,
one really doesn't need it either. And then Legacy of You, I don't think that would need an expansion. I could see you maybe making like a maybe volume 2 or something
yeah,
potentially, because there's a little bit of story with that one. So you could maybe
yeah,
make another
yeah,
similar game, maybe with a couple different
yeah,
things, and then
yeah.
add a new story. And then this one, I don't know if that'll need one or not. But that makes me wonder too if that is why they might just keep that smaller box size if they don't
Yeah,
really plan on adding anything to them. Really,
yeah,
then you don't really need to make the box bigger.
yeah. I could see that. And I do have it written down, noted that you mentioned some more upcoming in that series, kind of
Oh yeah,
mechanical sequel to Hadrian's Wall by Bobby Hill, the designer of Hadrian's Wall.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it seemed like both of them, Shem and Sam, seemed like they preferred the upcoming one. So
Hmm.
that's something to look forward to. I think that's going to be the next
Probably,
one announced in that
yeah.
series. And they also mentioned that he's working on another one in the ancient series that was like 5,000 years ago kind of setting, which going
More of
quite ancient, quite ancient.
right.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to those. And they announced or teased another Shem Phillips game from Arkus, which he did do a Shelfie Stacker with them. And this is the kind of picture that they have here. Don't have a title. But
Yeah.
did mention a few things that you're kind of going through this landscape, kind of dangerous landscape, and managing resources, moving around, upkeeping your vehicle, kind of in a kind of compared it to Indiana Jones a little bit,
Hmm.
kind of
I'm
alternate
wondering.
history, something
Yeah,
which this
I'm
gives
kind
me
of wondering
feelings
if
of
it's an.
Scythe.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, that's what I was thinking that too. I'm like, what if it has kind of a side feel? And I was wondering if it was maybe going to be apocalyptic, possibly feel too. I don't know. That's just a guess. I have no idea. But it sounds like this one was. I think I read somewhere Arcus was going to announce what the game was or the name or whatever this week. So
oh yeah,
maybe by the time we upload this one to YouTube, it might be announced. So
yeah,
might
hopefully.
have to check that out. Yeah, it's
So, yeah, and
always
then
exciting. I think this one will be maybe a little bit lighter than
oh yeah.
maybe
So
some of the
not
games that come
super
from
heavy
Garphill.
like they seem to be going.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then finally the talking a little bit more about Inventors of the South Tigris, which is I'm pretty sure I've said Tigris. I'm pretty sure I've said it a different way every time I've said it. But yeah, talking more about this, the third in the trilogy, the South
Mhm.
trilogy, which the second one's not even out yet. We're already talking about the third one.
Right.
But yeah,
But yeah.
no additional pictures here, just the cover is all we have currently.
Mhm. Yeah, the bearded legend himself, Misha, still hasn't provided them with more artwork. Chase, this guy. He must be busy or something. But yeah, I'm probably pretty excited about this one. I think this one probably scares you more than probably if you had to pick one of the South Tigers trilogy that you weren't going to play. I think you would be most afraid of this one, maybe. It's just a guess, maybe not.
Maybe
But I
the
do. I am very excited about Scholars once that one does come
oh,
out. I'm hoping that'll be here by the end of the year. But yeah, this one sounds. They said it's going to be their heaviest yet,
yeah,
which
they were pulling me in with the theme. They were talking about inventing these wacky little gadgets, kind of based on some people who did that back a long time ago, and kind of having like an adjective
oh
and a
yeah,
noun, like different cards, where it's like I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. That would be good. but it just
Pinky
seemed
Pinky.
almost like kind of funny and wacky and silly, which I usually don't get from these types of games.
Right.
I don't know exactly what they'll have in there, but so that had me interested. And then yeah, they did say that this is going to be probably their heaviest game to date, and then it just deflated, and I was much less excited about this. Which
And then what? Then they said it was probably going to be a 3 hour game. Your first play,
and I'm
45
like,
minutes a
oh
player,
no.
and then you're like, oh no, this is not going to be good. But I think this was this the one they mentioned that there was possibly a piece that was like related to wingspan where you're kind of triggering rows of things sometimes,
I'm not sure. Forget what that was.
or a piece of it, at least a piece of the game maybe,
Yeah.
where you're triggering something. I think they mentioned that in Lorenzo Il Magnifico, um, which is also a heavier game. I don't remember what you thought of that one, but they said it wasn't heavy for heavy's sake. It was heavy to make it awesome. So
Yes.
I'm hopeful that it'll be awesome.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I
I think this
guess
one
yeah.
involves dice as well. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, and
sounded
this
like
one they kind of had to make it heavy, I think, in these games. I think they mentioned to try to do something different with dice and try to mitigate them. You just kind of had to do something different, and
Mhm.
so many things have been done with dice, so eventually it's going to be something a little out there, maybe hard to wrap your head around, which makes it a heavier game. And this one, on the dice manipulation isn't as crazy as what Scholars look like, with kind of color mixing.
Oh yeah.
This one, it's kind of aging or upgrading your dice,
Hmm.
so that you can add pips to them, and kind of like through the rounds they get better and better, and then pretty much they can be um, whatever value you want them to be at a certain point if
Hmm.
they're enlightened enough, which I thought was not. It didn't sound overly complicated, thankfully. Seemed positive things, so that seems pretty good, and it sounds like there'll be similar interaction with kind of copying other people's ideas, but
Hmm.
still not being negative interaction. So that's good.
Hmm.
But
I
yeah,
always like fun, positive interaction.
yeah,
So
yep, and also stealing other people's work. I like that.
that's exactly what you like. Um, but yeah, it sounded like they. I think when they originally announced the South Tigris series, oh, it had been 2 years ago, 1 year ago, whatever it was. It sounded like whatever they had planned then had totally been thrown out the window, or
Yeah,
there's some of the suggestions they had thought maybe they'd possibly look at didn't really work, and this one I think took a little bit for them to kind of completely get ironed out. So um, yeah, I don't remember what they said for timeline on this one. Um,
um,
I would guess either end of this year, beginning of next year as well.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't remember. But yeah, I would say, I mean, I don't know about you, Pepper. I'll say my excitement level is definitely probably a 10.
A 10.
These all sound really cool.
Yeah,
I love the artwork on all these games,
yeah.
and then I think they just pack such a punch in a box. It's definitely the kind of the showstopper of a game night. I think all their games seem to be. So uh, I'm going to be probably excited no matter what. But the fact that they're kind of
Yeah.
suggesting a lot of these games kind of, and like we had kind of said, it does seem like they kind of pull some DNA from their past games and stuff. And just the fact that they're acknowledging that and saying that that's the case for some of these,
Yeah,
and they're naming games that I really like already,
yeah.
gets me really excited.
Yep, yep. Probably I'm probably more excited about the lighter games, like possibly the Shipwrights reworking. But overall, any announcement, especially a bunch of announcements from one of our top publishers, is pretty exciting. I'd say this is definitely a 9 overall batch of
Mm-hmm.
announcements for me. 9 out of 10.
I was thinking maybe the one you'd be most excited about was I mean, potentially the Arkus one with the
Yeah,
Indiana Jones theme and that. I don't know why, but that's what I was thinking for you, but maybe not.
that could be. I'd like to see components and board and
Right.
kind of a name, because the name is so very important on if you enjoy a game.
It can be. It can negate things, but yeah. So if there's any Garfield fans watching, definitely let us know below what piece you're most excited about? I would think, ooh, for me, it's probably actually the shipwrights that I'm most excited about. I'm interested to see what that is because it looks like it's not too much of a
Yeah.
overwhelming game from the look of kind of the player boards and stuff. So,
Yeah.
not that I get, I mean, too overwhelmed with things, but sometimes it feels to me like some games that have about this much stuff, just can sometimes feel really, I don't know, solid.
Oh, yeah.
With
Yeah.
even though that kind of has a minimal, so to say, minimal table presence. It looks like it still takes up probably a good chunk of the table, but I mean,
Yeah.
comparatively to some games these days, minimal table presence and still can pack a punch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Plus, I mean, that's the closest one to coming up, so it's probably
that
going
might
to
be
get
it.
my vote as well.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below which ones you're most excited about, and maybe what your favorite Garfield game is, and whether or not I'm hoping to at some point do a series on Garfield games, maybe a month dedicated to them, because yeah, there's a lot of them, and I really enjoy all of them. And I'll have to talk Pepper and Michaela into playing them, because Shem said his favorite player count is 3 players for Euro games,
Yes,
so uh, yeah, we got to play at 3.
we
That's
got it.
just the way it's got to be. So you either need to be you 3, or I'm going to have to get Sam and Shem to play with me. Uh,
Just
but
film
yeah,
it all at GenCon.
there we go. But yeah, otherwise, check out our other content. I don't know how much content we have on Garfield Games. We have the Legacy of You, but I don't know that we've done too many. We might have Wayfarer's content as well, so we can
Yeah.
probably link those below. Uh, but otherwise, we hope to see you on those videos. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.